yesterday, an interesting Monday. Mike Mayock, my friend and longtime NFL Network colleague, is fired as the general manager for the Raiders. At the same time, my alma mater, Jim Harbaugh, announces the hiring of a defensive line coach from Notre Dame, Mike Elston, who's a former Michigan football player, but he welcomes him back, and the press release is talking about it's one big happy family. And so, Mayock's firing is a deck clearing. So what's going on with the Raiders situation, and Harbaugh still a possibility here? What do you think?
I don't know that it's specifically being done for Harbaugh. I mean, one thing that I heard going back a couple of months is that, the business side people, and they've cleaned out their business side over the last 6 months. The business side people in Vegas, kind of viewed after Gruden was fired, is this a chance to like reimagine the organization, and I think if Mike had stayed on, it would be a sign that Rich Bisaccia was in really good shape. And I always felt like if they decided to fire Mike, it was in order to take big swings to allow whoever the next coach is to maybe recreate the organization in his own image. And so, I've talked for a couple of months about the idea that they could be a team that could pull off a coach trade. And maybe they call Pittsburgh about Mike Tomlin. Maybe they call New Orleans about Sean Payton. Not saying those guys would go, but it's, it's worth asking, right? And then Harbaugh's the other one. There's obviously a relationship between Mark Davis and Jim Harbaugh. Almost hired him in 2015 when Michigan got him. And Harbaugh coached there in 2002 and 2003. That said, I do think that defensive line hire, I'll tell you, it got my attention, Rich, because somebody had pointed this out to me. You want to go back to the Ohio State-Michigan thing? Here we can. How, there was a 2-week period there where Ryan Day was very aggressively filling out his staff. It was pointed out to me that, Jim Harbaugh had 2 or 3 staff openings that he was doing nothing about. And he was just leaving those jobs open. And that was an indication maybe that he was on his way out. Well, the fact that they went and hired a D-line coach, to me, at least signals that Michigan feels like they're in a good spot, and Harbaugh is okay with the idea of going back, and maybe there's at least some framework for a contract to get done. Mm-hmm. Now, I'd warn anybody, don't climb in Jim Harbaugh's head. It's a crazy place, and I would not guess what he's going to do right now, because if you go back to 2015, you'll remember this, Rich. There was a time when people were saying there's no way he's going back to college, and he did. So I think it's not over till it's over. But I would say that defensive line hire is at least a good sign that Jim Harbaugh is, potentially coming back to Michigan for, I think this would be an 8th year, right? And I also think, at the same time, simultaneously, that the Raiders are looking to take a big swing to fill that head coaching spot. I think the interest in Harbaugh is one sign of it, and I think the firing of Mayock is probably another sign of it.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.